Hello, this is Roger, Low Vision Product Manager here at HumanWare. In this video, I'm going to show you about the distance application in your Prodigy for Windows software, as well as some new features that we've added with the version 1.3 release of the software. And these will apply back to other older videos, so you'll be a little bit ahead of the game there. So presently I am in my carousel and I have it set to show two icons at a time. You may recall that you can show a single large icon, two icons, or even four icons, depending upon your visual acuity when you're using it. At the top, you can see a blue bounding box shows where I am right now. And again, Prodigy can be run through a touchscreen on say, a Surface tablet or a PC with a touchscreen. It can be run with a mouse, as I'm using right now, or you can use keys to navigate through. So I can use a tab right now to tab to different elements, and then I can use my arrow keys to activate different functionalities, or my enter key to select. One change that we've made with version 1.3 is in the bottom center of your carousel. And here you'll see the page that you're on out of the total number of pages that you might scroll through. So in this case, we're on page 1 of 3, showing the magnifier and distance applications. I'll tap again, and now I see files and settings, and I'm on page 2 of 3. And then my last page has my help icon, which gives me access to my user guide, my feedback links, videos such as this one, and so on. I'll tap once more and I'm back where I started. So again, that was a minor change that we made. So let's go ahead and use our mouse to come up to the large distance icon and tap on that. And it will open up, and you can see that I have a distance camera connected right now. And I'm going in the bottom right corner of my screen and hitting that minus sign that you see there. It's bounded in a blue circle. That's the color that I've chosen for my locator. And I can zoom out, or in the lower far right, there is a plus that allows me to zoom in. Now note, I can also use touchscreen for pinch and zoom here, or if I have a mouse with a wheel, I can use the wheel on my mouse to zoom in and zoom out as well, as I'm doing right now. So that's very simply zoom in and zoom out. Let's go back to our left one more time, and there is a capture option there. So let's tap on that one time, and we will capture a image of what we're seeing across my office here. So you'll notice that the toolbar has now changed. In the far right corner is a save option. That will save this image and then go back to a live viewing mode. I can also zoom in and zoom out, same way as I was before, pinch and zoom using a wheel, using the icons on the screen. But in the fact that I have a frozen image, I can now click and drag or use a touchscreen gesture to move the image around and explore what I'm looking at more closely. And I'm using my mouse wheel right now to zoom out onto it.
Speech off.
Oops, and I double click there so it tells me my speech is off. I apologize for that. So let's go ahead and hit the lower left corner, the back arrow. This will return me to my live view of my camera. So far we've covered the plus sign for zooming in, the minus sign for zooming out, the capture button, and I'll go back in and show you some settings there in just a moment. But you may have questions about how did we get a distance camera set up. So let's tap on to this gear wheel. It's the fourth in from the lower right of the screen. And this will open up my settings for my distance application. At the very top of the list is the camera, and then below it are additional settings that I might want to employ when I'm using my camera. So first, let's go ahead and open this camera option. And in this case, I'm going to use my keyboard. I see that blue bounding box. That means that's the item that I'm on. I'm going to hit enter and open it up. And here you can see that I'm using a IPEVO VZR. It's a plugged-in USB camera, document camera that I'm using for my distance viewing. And I can use any connected camera. So I'm presently using my HoverCam Solo 8 Plus for documents. So I know I can't use that. I have my integrated webcam. That's the one that's in my laptop. At the bottom, I have a connected Logitech webcam. And then I can access different Wi-Fi cameras. Now, if I have a camera connected to my primary Wi-Fi, that's the one with no digits after it. If I use a camera there, the downside to it is that it will take over my network, so I cannot go on to the internet any longer. However, I have also connected a second Wi-Fi adapter. This allows me to use one of our Kodak cameras. If you're not familiar with how to connect the Kodak camera, there is a video on connecting and using the Kodak camera, but mine is turned on right now. So I'll tap onto that button and it should reconnect itself and go live. So let's go ahead and click OK. In the upper left, I'll click back. And I'll click back in that upper left one more time. And once again, and I'll go back to my live view with my Kodak camera now. And this is a Wi-Fi connected camera on my Wi-Fi 2. And I can now zoom in across the room. You see in the upper right there a battery indicator. And I can zoom in and out with my Kodak camera. The beauty of the Kodak camera is it is a very strong camera. So I'm going to go ahead and capture an image here just so you can see how great the camera is when you're capturing images for viewing. So I will zoom in really tight on this image here, and you can see that it's captured a very nice image of this girl using her Reveal 16 magnification device there. So that is how we go about changing our cameras. So we will come back out to our live camera. I'll go to that gear wheel and tap on it again. And again, so that was in your camera settings there, and you can quickly change amongst them just by going in and clicking. You can even select none at the bottom there and turn it off altogether if you'd like. So let's hit that back arrow in the upper left and go back to the main settings here. Some other settings you have for the distance application. There is a brightness setting. So here I'll tap on it and you can see that it is uh, increasing and decreasing the amount of light saturation for my camera. So the default is 50. Let's leave it on 45 for right now. And then I'll hit my back arrow. It will return me to my settings. I will cover what these contrasts are right now. So let's back out so you can see what that's all about. So I will go into a live viewing mode here. Let's zoom in just a little bit. And let's say, oops, I clicked on my screen there. So I'm going to capture an image very quickly. So now we have a frozen image. This will work the same way though. On a touchscreen or with your mouse, you can adjust the contrast of the image you're seeing. Right now we're seeing it in full color, but I can drag on the right hand side, drag down on the right hand side of my screen with a click and drag or a quick swipe on a touchscreen, and I can cycle through different contrast colors on that image that I'm seeing. So I'm just doing it again here, and again, that's a click and drag or a touchscreen with a quick downward gesture with a finger on the right hand side of the screen. And this will work the same both on captured images or in live views. So go ahead and do the same here. Now you're seeing it on a live view, and I can cycle through them there. So that's what contrast means. And as I stated, by default, it's going to be, those white on black and black on white colors. But let's take a look at how the effect will change if I switch to black on cyan and come back out. And now I'll use that gesture again. And you can see that we're using that black on cyan combination. So that's what your contrast colors are when you're using your distance camera. I'll go ahead and leave it set as we've just changed there. So let me show you a couple of other features on the far left of the toolbar. And I am in live mode again right now. So I can zoom in and zoom out using my wheel. In the far left is a back arrow. If I were to tap on that, I would exit my distance application and return to my carousel. Immediately to the right of it, or the second icon in on the bottom, is a small piece of paper with a T on it in a circle. This is my magnifier, so I'll switch to a text view. If I tap on that one time, you'll see that I've now gone to my other camera. That's my down-facing Solo 8 Plus magnifier. My icon, second one in from the bottom left corner, is now a mountain. That means distance, so I can tap that again and switch back to my distance view. So this second button in allows me to toggle between my two different cameras. I am back in my distance mode now. So a recent addition in version 1.3 is the third icon to the right, which is a split screen button. And right now you'll see a large bounding rectangle in black with a solid black box in the center. This means that we're seeing a full screen view of our distance camera right now. I can use my arrow key on my keyboard. Remember, we can navigate using the keyboard as well to tap to the right once and use my enter key, and I can enter into split screen viewing mode. So here, what you see on the left is my distance camera with a blue bounding box. That tells me that's the active camera that I'm controlling with my toolbar or my keyboard or my touchscreen. And on the right is my down-facing text camera. So whichever one of those has the blue bounding box is the one that's being controlled. So here I am controlling on the right my document camera, and I can come back to my distance camera on the left, click once, and now I can control that. Notice at the bottom left that we are in a split screen mode, so we've removed our ability to toggle back and forth full screen to one of the other cameras, but we have changed the icon a little bit where you see a black bounding box with two vertically side-by-side solid black boxes. This indicates that we're seeing our cameras side by side in the view of split screen. Let's tap that split screen one more time. And now you will see that we've moved to a top on bottom. The icon has changed to show those two solid black boxes inside the larger bounding black box being stacked on top of one another. In this case, my distance camera is now on the top and my document camera is on the bottom. If I tap one more time, I will exit back to whichever camera was in that blue bounding box. In this case, it was my distance camera. I want to show you one more thing about split screen while I'm showing it. So allow me to tap on it again. And here you see my blue bounding box around my distance camera. Again, active camera is where that blue bounding box is. But let's say I wanted to exit out of split screen very quickly back to one of these two cameras. I can just go double tap or double click on my distance camera is what I'll do right now. And we'll exit right out of split screen back to a full screen view of the camera that I've double tapped or double clicked upon. Okay, so we've been through the primary interface of the live camera. Allow me to quickly capture an image. I'll go to that camera icon. It's the third in from the lower right, and I'll tap on that once and we'll capture an image with our distance camera now. So now we have an image that we can zoom in and zoom out upon. So I'm using the buttons right now, although I can, again, use touchscreen gestures or my mouse wheel. But I wanted to go through some of the settings of an image that has been captured. So let's tap on that, and you'll see that they're just a little bit different than what we saw when we were in live mode. Remember, we have a frozen image on the screen right now, but our contrast is currently in color. And again, our combinations are black on cyan, so we do apply those over from the live image to this image. I'll go ahead and switch those and we'll take a look at them in a minute. So now we switch to black on yellow. Here again, we can adjust our brightness for captured images. And I have a preferred zoom of 4x. Allow me to show you how that works in just a moment as we exit out. So let's hit the back arrow in that upper left and we will come back to preferred zoom in just a moment. So I'm out in my document right now and I'm just going to do that swipe gesture on the right again. That's a finger or a mouse click and drag down the right-hand side to go through my different contrasts. So repeat of what we showed you earlier. Remember I had my preferred zoom is set to 4. So if I click on this screen of this Reveal 16i, this young lady in the center of the screen is using, if I click one time, my screen is going to zoom to that 4x, whatever that might be. So let's take a look at that in a more significant way by going back to that gear wheel, going into our settings, and let's tap on preferred zoom. And let's increase it to say 20 so that you can really see what's taking place. Well, there's 21, let's use that. I'll hit the back arrow in the upper left corner. And now I will tap on my screen one time with a click. And here you can see I've zoomed into 21x, which is a very tight zoom on this image. If I tap one more time, I'll zoom back out to that previous view. So that can be very helpful if you know that you're going to need to capture things and you want to zoom in. But let's also click over here. And you'll notice that wherever I click, is where that zoom takes place. So here's this young lady in the center using that Reveal 16. I'm going to try to click right on that magnification wheel in the center, and we zoom right in on that area where I clicked. So again, it's that one click, and it will zoom to your preferred zoom level on whatever area of that image you'd like to have. Lastly, once you've frozen an image, in the lower far right corner is that little diskette, if you will, for those that have been using computers for a while. If I click on that one time, we'll go ahead and save that image and then go back to our live view. So very quickly, let's take a look at where that image went. So in the far left of the toolbar at the bottom, I will tap that back arrow, exit to my carousel, and I'll use the lower right corner navigation button to move forward. Oops, I double clicked. I'll now click in the lower left to go back one screen. And here I see my files, and that's where our image was saved. So let's click on Files. And at the very top, you see a folder called Distance. And recall, we captured that with our distance camera. So let's open it up. And we've automatically named this image one. I know that it looks very similar to one that I had taken previously, but we can now open that by clicking on it, and we can apply different settings to it. Again, you can see the settings that have been applied, and we can view it in a saved state, zooming in and out with my mouse wheel and so forth. In the lower left is that back button. And let's just say maybe you don't want it to be named image one. You can use a context menu in this case, a right click here to move, delete, rename, or export this image. Okay. I can also get to the properties of this image to learn a little bit more about it, and else as well as see its size. So let's say we wanted to rename it. I'll come up to rename, and we'll name this demo picture. And in the upper right, we've switched to an airplane. That means send. So I'll send that change, and you can see that it's been renamed demo picture. I do hope that you found this video to be helpful in understanding how to use the distance application and some of the new features that we've implemented with version 1.3 of Prodigy for Windows. As always, look for that feedback link in the video description, or go to the help menu of your Prodigy for Windows and click on feedback there. Let us know how we're doing, give us ideas for development and so forth. It's the only way that we can continue to improve and prioritize things to meet your needs as quickly and efficiently as possible. Thanks for watching.